Hello, 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 hello. Thank you for joining us on today. Thank you so much for joining us on today. If you are in the room, go ahead on, hit the share. Let someone know that we are on. I know the title may be a little bit of a detour from what we have been talking about, but really it's not a detour. We've been talking about our children. Actually, we've been talking about generational trauma and childhood sexual abuse. And so our topic today is not far from that, unfortunately. Go ahead on and hit the share. Let someone know we are in the room. I apologize in advance because no notifications went out for my email list nor for my social medias. And I apologize for that. If I'm honest, I have to learn, or I'm already learning, that sometimes I need to take care of my own mental health. And so I had to back off of social media a little bit last night and this morning, because it's quite, it's a little overwhelming. All of what has gone on and transpired within the last 24 hours, especially with me being a mother, has been overwhelming. It has been sad. um it's been sad. It's just sad. It's unfortunate. And so I knew that part of my responsibility with my platform was to get on, because people are looking for answers. People are wanting to know why. People are sad. People are hurting. These families that have lost their children, these very small children, these families are hurting. I can only imagine, and just only imagine. I'm not even sure if I can even wrap my head around what it would be like to drop my child off at school and then not be able to pick them up because of the hands, because they died at the hands of someone else, um, because they were killed at the hands of someone else. Let's just call it for what it is. And so I knew that I had to say something. And mind you, I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. And like most of you, I don't necessarily have words to put around what happened, or I don't have words to put. But if I'm really, really, really completely honest, when I'm researching and when I'm looking at the world from where I sit and the things that I do on a daily basis, the world is, our children are our future. The future of our children, um, it needs help. The future need help. Our children are in our the future of our children. It just, I don't know. I don't know the words to even say there. So come on in, hit share if you're all in here. I usually start by doing some sort of review. I didn't do that. Um, I just kind of start going in, and I didn't stop and do a review. So yesterday, as I started out talking about, a few minutes ago, we talked a little bit about family secrets, loyalty, and family pathology. And so we've been talking about the topic of generational trauma and what that looks like, the impact of that on ourselves now and how it was during childhood. So we talked a little bit about childhood trauma, and we more specifically talked about childhood sexual abuse. And so go back, make sure you catch up on some of those videos, because they actually build off of each other. um but today, y'all, today I wanted to talk a little bit about what our response should be. Like, how can we respond in the midst of the crisis? And I mean, studies show, there are kind of studies show that we tend to be more general, more giving, or generous, and more giving when in times of crisis. So I wanted to come on today, and I won't be on long like I usually am, at least I don't think. And I wanted to give some kind of direction as to what we can do in the midst of the crisis that happened at Uvalde, Texas. And so um I wanted to start off by giving some stats, as mostly I always do. So, and these stats are from 2021. So they're old stats, but just know that I can almost assure you that even these stats from 2021 have increased in 2022. And the way most research goes is usually from year to year. So the stats that were reported in 2021, um, the ones for 2022 have not been released yet. So according to childrensdefense.org, is that and they said this, not my words, these are their words, is that even before COVID-19, another epidemic was killing our children at a higher rates. And they said, childrensdefense.org says that it was gun violence. Gun violence, according to them, was the leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 19 in 2018. Y'all, 2018, what's that, 4 years ago now? 4 years ago, surpassing motor vehicle accidents for the first time in history. This was in 2018. I can only imagine how much it is now. When we tally up all of the lives of children that have been lost to gun violence just in the last year, we don't even have to go that much further back to last year. If we just look at 2022, now I realize this video will probably last surpass 2022 because it's going to be on YouTube and it's going to be on Facebook. So this video will probably outlive 2022. And should it do, I can only imagine what these stats will look like in the year that you are watching this. I can only imagine. In fact, if you are watching this and it's after 2022, I want to challenge you to go look up the stats and post in the comment section what the statistics will look like, or what the statistics for gun violence for children look like today or in the year that you're watching. So the article goes on to say children and teens are four more likely to die from gunfire than COVID-19. Why is this? Why is this? Why is this, things like this continuing to happen and seemingly um nothing is being done? And we'll get there. Trust me, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll talk about it. So some other stats that so other things that really stood out to me, that in 2019, this one right here just kind of blew my mind. In 2019, a child or a teen is killed or was killed by a gun every 2 hours and 36 minutes. Y'all, it's only 24 hours in a day. That is approximately what, 12 to 15 children a day that's being killed by gun violence. Here's another stat. Child and teen gun deaths hit a 19-year high in 2017 and have remained elevated ever since. So, what should be our response? And I know, we kind of started out talking about this. Is what should be our response in the wake of all of the deaths? We can't deny the little people. Like we can't deny seeing their little faces and just wondering what their little lives would have been like um had something had been done before that young man went to the elementary school, um and took multiple lives, multiple. So what is our response? So what should our response be? I hope that your response is in compassion, empathy, compassion for the parents, compassion for the schools, compassion for even the victim, the victimizer, the person that took the children's lives. And I know that the police killed him. There was a shootout, I believe it was, and he got killed in the process. But even just think that that he was 18. Think about the fact that he came from somewhere. He came from some broken place where, imagine what could have been going on in this child's life, where he decides, okay, I'm gonna, and it had to have been a plan. Like, this have had to have been a plot, a plan, or something. What was going on in his life where he felt that the only option that he had was to choose what he chose? Of course, we know there's always an enemy behind the enemy. As a believer, I'm not oblivious to that. There is an enemy behind the enemy. No one just wake up and say, "Oh yeah, I think I'm going to go commit mass murder." No, no. There is something obviously going on, troubled, very troubled in a person's mind that will make them go and do something like that. And we're not just talking about, with the children. We're talking about the Buffalo mass killings that happened a couple of weeks ago. Like, there's obviously something going on. So our response, number one, should be in empathy for both sides. And I know that's not probably what you want to hear, but empathy for both sides, empathy for the children, the parents, and the families that have lost those children, and the teacher, and even the grandparent. I believe that was killed. That he killed his grandmother. I think it was that he killed. But empathy for all parties involved, and especially as if you are a believer, then our heart should be in compassion for both sides. So our compassion, what do we do with that? Like, what do we do with our compassion? And I just have to tell you in advance, you may not like me after this, and that's okay. I'm kind of used to people not liking me. I done lived 38 years knowing people don't like me, and I'm yet still here by the grace of God. So I'm not concerned about you not liking me, after today. So if you don't, I mean, you can, that's you, between you. That's you that got to deal with that. But our response, number one, compassion, but our response should be in prayer. If you are a believer, then your response should be in prayer. That's number two, because we have some other things. I think as a Christian, in Christianity, we talk, oh, we should just pray. Oh, we should just pray, and we should, just pray and pray, pray, pray. Yes, but our prayer should be coupled with some action. Our faith, which we should be praying in faith, should be coupled with some action. So I want to give you some tips on some things that you can do, not just for your own personal life, but for your children, because we've been talking about protecting our young children. We've been talking about that. We've been talking about that for the last few days when we've been talking about child sexual abuse. We even specifically talk about the spiritual aspect, or the spiritual impact of child sexual abuse. And I particularly highlighted that one of the spiritual aspects is death. And I was alluding to spiritual death. But here we are a few days later, looking at, to be real honest, what our nation has created. I can't say it no other way. We're looking at what our nation has created. We're looking at what we, even in our beliefs, have created, when we've traditionally not protected our young. We have traditionally not protected our young in our nation. We've not done a very good job. And so we're looking at the remnant of what our nation has done to not protect our young people. So our response, number one, was to that was number two. Number two was prayer. Number one was compassion and empathy. The third response is for us to protect our young. We have to figure out a way where we are valuing people in general, valuing people not just in the pre-birth stage for my pro-lifers, not just in the pre-birth stage, but that our value for people should supersede the pre-born stage, but it should continue throughout the rest of our life. We have to get to the point to where we know, number one, that life is precious, that their lives are precious, that they're these little children, that everybody's life is precious. And that we have to get to the point to where we're back at valuing life and valuing people. But if I'm really honest, we have not as a nation done a good job with valuing all people. I, I don't know why we think that how do I say this? Because I want to make sure that my words are, seasoned with grace. And so I want to, and this is a topic that just I think we're all just kind of upset. Most of us are just hurt over this. But we cannot as a nation think that um our devaluing of any life will not impact other parts of our nation. If you value one sector and devalue other sector, you best believe that you are sending a message that some lives are valuable over other lives. So in order for us to get back, I can't even say get back. So let's not even say, America has valued on our lives. They haven't. So I can't even say get back. We have to come to the point to where and we're doing a really good job at it now. See, different corporations and businesses and all that are starting to be more inclusive and and are putting practices in their businesses that are more equitable and more fair for all races and for all people. But we have to we have to get to and all of those, y'all. Okay. So the not valuing all people is a hard issue. It is a hard issue. It is a hard issue. And so when you send the message in a nation that you don't value some lives over others, well, it's a spirit. Remember, we're not just physical beings, we're spiritual beings. You are releasing that into the nation. And so we have to value people. We have to value diversity. And we have got to begin to shift this thing so that we can begin to put things in place, laws, things, something has got to be done. And I don't want to jump ahead of myself. So the next part of that is for us. I know you may think you are one person, but you are one person that could change a nation. You can change so much with you just being this one person. You this one person, but here's how you do it. Because it's not just about you being the one person that can make impact in your home. I hope you're making impact in your home. I hope you're doing what you can do to protect your children, to value, to even teach your children how to respect and value their own selves. And then you are modeling that as a parent, how to respect and value other people and how to respect and value yourself. But how you can do it as one person is to get to find what you have been gifted to do. What has you been called to do? What has been those plans, those things that you keep putting off, the things that are in your heart that you're supposed to do, but you're too afraid to step out on? What are those things that you are called to do? Find what it is. If you don't know, the only reason why you don't know is because you haven't been diligent in seeking it out. But find whatever it is that you have been called and gifted to do. And I challenge you to do it. We don't have any more time. There is no more time. we for years we've thought, oh, we have time, we can just put this off and we can put this off, and now we 40 and we still haven't figured out what we want to do. But it is so important in this season right now, today, now, because our nation needs you, our children need you, our families need you. There are all the systems in the world need you. And so it's so vital for you to find what you have been called, gifted to do, so that you can go make an impact in whatever that is. Who's to say that that child didn't come across, I'm talking about the 18-year-old, didn't come across someone. I'm like, where who was missing off of their post that they didn't get to impact this child? Who was missing? Where were you? Why weren't you on your post? Why are you still walking around the same mountain trying to figure out what you're supposed to do? Why weren't you on your post? We can be mad at a lot of things in America, and we can call cancel culture this, and we can be mad at a lot of things, but where are you? I hope we're using this as an opportunity to really evaluate, are we where we're supposed to be, so we can make the biggest impact on the lives that we have already. We are ordained to reach a certain amount of lives. We are ordained to reach a certain amount of people. And I'm not saying that, that could have changed things. We don't know. We don't know. But I do know this from personal experience, that being where you are ordained to be at will impact people. And I hope that it is impacting them for the best. So it is a cry for the future of our children. It is a cry for our future of our children. It is imperative that in this season we don't just pray, but we couple our prayer with faith, and that we are finding in our faith with action. Let me complete that. Our prayers are coupled with faith, and our faith is in action. Our faith is played out in action. Our love is played out in action. Everything we do is played out in action, and that we take the time that we need. This is time. Like, all the alarms are going off for you to do whatever it is that you have been called to do by God. Like, the alarms are going off. They are sounding. The world needs you. The world needs people to stand on their post, and how you stand on your post is getting where you know you need to be. Okay, I told y'all probably wouldn't like me after this, and it's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And I had very few notes, and I think I hit at everything that I had. I love you. I don't even have a direction to point you in today, other than get on your post and find what it is that you called to do. If you need some help with trying to figure that out, I think I might have a free graphic or freebie that I think I did for our young adults way back some years ago, that I can pull, and I can give that away to you to help you be able to figure out what you have been called to do. And if it's fear, because most of the time the thing standing between you doing it from point A to point B is fear, whether it's fear of failure, fear of success, or fear of people, usually. So whatever that is and whatever it means for you, then you need to get past the fear. Then hey, I guess that's, I can point you in that direction as resources. I can refer you to a therapist if you're still healing from past traumatic issues. Remember, we have been talking about that, how important it is for us to move past those things now, and to heal and to walk in healing, so that we can get to our future and where we know we need to be at, where we know we need to be at. So I can definitely support you in that. And if you want to work with me in figuring out, hey, I need to this. I'm done with the cycles. Like, I'm over the cycles, and I'm ready to move forward. Book a discovery call with us. Thank you for those who have already booked discovery calls. I love you guys so much. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll pick up talking about generational trauma and racism. We'll talk about racism. I put that one off, guys. I did. I put that one off. Um, but it'll end. I think it will end our final our final series on generational trauma. We'll end it by talking about racism, the impact of racism. I love you. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. See you guys back here tomorrow where we tackle another hard life topic with simple solutions. I love you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday.